Welcome to this another Peak webinar session with myself, Chris Reed, and our special guest today, Aaron Alsbrook, CTO of ClearBlade. To set the scene, this is the first of three another Peak webinars, beginning with the basics of edge computing and progressing into more detail around image processing and asset tracking. It's all based around another Peak's theatre of themes, about the ingestion of data, be it edge, IoT, remote working, and the production of business-level visibility. Software-defined something is an area of innovation that another Peak have been helping clients with for many years, be it SD-WAN or software-defined data centers. And we realized early on that whilst hyperscale data centers are magnificent technology beasts, they don't fit the IoT model. The volume of data from connected things will outstrip the available bandwidth. There has to be an intermediate edge computing, acting locally to negate these bandwidth issues, and more importantly, as a service platform to aggregate and visualize the siloed data for senior management to act upon. That's why ClearBlade is at the core of our service theme. So Aaron, if I hand over to you and take us through this bit of the presentation.
Yeah, happy to do it. Thank you for having me today, Chris. This is a fun opportunity to share with some of the stuff that's going on. And let me dive in and talk a little bit about what we're doing to try to break some of these silos, especially as we watch the world really get caught up with and get excited about edge computing. Hopefully you're seeing my screen now, and kind of just a quick overview about what ClearBlade is doing. The reality is there are a lot of pieces in IoT. Hardware, networks, different things that are interesting. ClearBlade is software, specifically software that's designed to run on any cloud, software that's designed to run on premise, software that's designed to run at the edge. And of course, the edge, as you guys are probably well aware, is macro edge. These are data centers in certain cities, down to micro edge. These are little embedded computers or little gateway computers sitting on top of machines and vehicles. So to do IoT well, you have to say yes, yes, yes. We have to run across all of these environments. We have to be able to talk to any device. The world is very exciting because every day there's a new really cool device. That's great news, but man, that's a nightmare for folks who are trying to build a solution and keep it future-proof, right, Chris?
Yeah, agreed.
So, you know, today you're a rock star because you're using the latest and greatest thing, and tomorrow you're yesterday's news. So how do you continue to do any device, any future protocol? And then the reality is any network as well. I've been at this for, well, 20 years in IT, obviously, but you know, even IoT as networks constantly change. You read about a new satellite network, you read about a new microwave range, 900 megahertz, 2.4 gigahertz. These things are all propping up all the time. And they're all interesting for different use cases. So ClearBlade, we're software. You run applications on top of us that are basically edge native, IoT native. We put security in, we put scalability in, and then we make it open. We're not trying to lock everybody into us. We want to talk across the ecosystem. Great partners obviously are key to success here, so you've got to be open to do all that. And if we do our job well, we live up to our slogan right now, which is no more IoT science experiments. Probably a lot of folks have built things, and we may as well have been acting like we were in the lab because we did wild, cool stuff, but it was a science experiment, right? The volcano exploded when it was all said and done. So.
Right, yeah.
So, IoT, real simple. I'll set the stage. What is IoT? It's really a data ingestion challenge, right? So you talk about, Chris, data silos, and congratulations. Here's how we build a great silo, right? One device talks one protocol. We build the gateway to talk that protocol, and then we shove it into our application, and we put up walls, and we keep everybody from getting to it. That's the reality. That's what IoT is doing. So if you go to folks and say, we'd like to do an IoT project, that's what people visualize, this nice clean path. Maybe you talk back down to the thing, but it's one path. But not only have we locked the data, but we also have a real challenge in phase 2, to phase 100. The reality is the world gets far more complex, far more protocols, far more applications need this data unlocked. And we call this the Spiderweb of IoT. We've got a bunch of great vendors, a bunch of great things to do, a bunch of ROI, and our poor software developers are saying, are you kidding me? Right? These open, talk anything, what a mess. So this is the challenge that really we're going to have. You know, if you're not there yet, it makes total sense. Even ClearBlade, we start with, you know, pilots to prove out these things, but this is where we're all trying to go. If we're going to get the value, if we're going to digitize our businesses, we have to be able to say yes to whatever's out there and get it into where we need it. And then to your point, we can't lock it up. We've got to get it across our organization. Operational folks need value. Security folks need value. IT needs value. You know, management needs visibility. We really have to do this in a way that we can see how we share it. If I say where ClearBlade lives in this, the ClearBlade is trying to simplify this challenge. We're successfully simplifying this challenge. I'll promote ourselves, but we're ultimately putting our software there, that middle, there's two middle pieces in the cloud or the server infrastructure or in the edge, the gateway infrastructure. Our software sits there and it lets you talk to whatever device, whatever protocol, however old it may be. It lets you do organization. So while it may have come across as a comma separated value, or it might have come across as XML or even hexadecimal, right? Whatever magic somebody used that was the latest and greatest thing, however many years ago, take that data, we turn it into something you understand. Very often, the best part about this is you, our end user, our customer says, this is how I understand it. So we map it into how they understand it. We organize it. We can do things like the rules and AI algorithms. Actually, I know we'll get into that in future sessions, but there's some really interesting things that we can do at that edge. A lot of value there. But then we also say not everything's at the edge, right? There's reasons why we're in the cloud. So when we need multiple data sets, data from around the world, look at us, you know, doing this webinar across multiple countries around the globe right now. You know, we bring all that data together and then we can process it in the cloud as well. You really need a lot of redundant capability. You need a lot of redundant capability as you move all the way into your back offices, where your applications, where your SAP, where your IBMs, where your other cloud services might be. As you move it around, you need that full capability. And actually, you're changing. You're changing. Sometimes you want the rule in the cloud. Sometimes you want the rule at the railroad crossing. Sometimes you want the rule in your IT servers next to your IT staff. Sometimes you want it on the ship or at the port. There's lots of places where you might have that logic, that IoT solution exist. So, you know, what's in here? You know, if you go and look at cloud providers, again, there's lots of ways to build this. Applications are not new, right? We've had web servers for many years. We've had databases for how many years, right? I mean, these things, how you build applications, what the elements are not something extraordinary. What is new is how do we put these pieces together? You look at how some of the clouds come at it. They've turned everything into little services, right? And then you log in there and there's 1,000 of them, right?
Yeah.
That's cool, right? But man, you better know what all 1,000 do, and you better be really good at wiring them together, because there's a journey. Let's just call it a journey of how do you move through that and get that data where you want it. And certainly, you know, they're going to make it easier to put it in their places, and then you have to ask, whose silo is this? So, you know, we look at it, yes, there's fundamental pieces. ClearBlade put them all nicely, tightly together, so we can take our entire, what it would be a cloud IoT offering, and drop it right down on a Raspberry Pi. As a matter of fact, a Raspberry Pi is a rather overpowered device for us. We don't even need that much compute. So that transparency of the ability to move the databases, the interaction with any other third-party databases, the ability to do the pub-sub messaging model, that's very, very important in IoT. That's real-time data.
Yeah.
The ability to write your microservices, and you know, this microservices can be simple if-thens, or they can even move as complex as, you know, Bayesian algorithms or neural nets, right? All of these things are streams or microservices. And then visualizations. And so we're really these green boxes in the middle. We make it easy to get this done. and then get the data where you want it. There are still great cloud services. As a matter of fact, if we didn't send data into cloud services, that would mean we were creating our own silos. So this integration, this northbound side is very, very important for how do we make sure that we get the data into the SAP team and into the Google BigQuery team and into the Mongo Atlas, wherever we want it to go. And then, of course, the south side, and I'll drive a little more into that, but that's where the devices exist. You'll notice these two gray lines. We call them integrations and adapters. They're really similar in a way to us. They're essentially open source. Yeah, they're open source models, right? We've got to talk to all the BLE devices. And while I wish every BLE device talked the exact same, I can go talk to a BLE hand drill and it talks completely different across 4 different vendors, right? So we just open that community up because that's how we keep up with all the change that's coming our way. So that's what we're doing. Where it gets a little interesting, you know, Chris, to your point, it's the edge, right? The edge is really the new opportunity we have. The edge is where we're going to move a lot of things that were in the cloud, where we were paying lots to get all the data up and do big stuff. Now we're going to take subsets and move it back down into our buildings, by our doors, onto our machines, into our boats. I mean, there's a lot of places on our wellheads, wherever they need to go. They're going to do interesting calculations. You cut that line, you know, chop down the cell phone tower. All of our applications keep running. The factory doesn't have to rely on their internet to keep all of their IoT solutions in factory running. That's what the edge is going to do. And ClearBlade, because we built this thing so nicely, we can just push it all the way down. We can move your application down for you, talk wherever you want to go, help you manage it, obviously, as you go forward. But that's what we're doing. I mean, that's ultimately it, Chris, is we're trying to make it easy to spread your IoT application from your cloud, from your IT, which is traditional, into your operational environments, into your OT environments. And then when that data comes back, we don't want it to be trapped. We want it to spread across, right?
Right.
We want it in real time to go across. So we don't want people to be able then to hold us hostage to how our different business units need to work with things. You know, lots of considerations. I'll say, obviously, we're addressing security, we're addressing data privacy, we're addressing, you know, cross-border sorts of behaviors too to make sure we're compliant. But we've got to break down these silos one way or another, and this is where we're helping attack that problem.
And you know, that's the one thing we saw, that the number of silos, as you said, with different solutions, and that's great for the specific solution. But if I want a view of my estate, if I want to see the true impacts of a combination of these different silos, this is where you guys fit perfectly.
Yeah, we've actually had some customers, you know, you get in there and you're partners. I'm gonna call them partners because it's never something that we just go in and walk away, right? We're constantly understanding how this works, and you'll hear what we call death by IoT dashboard, right? They really went in with this grand, awesome vision, right? And they actually have a lot of data. They have 25 IoT solutions that they have to go monitor, and you need an AI algorithm to watch all these dashboards that are going on. So yeah, that's our term for unlock that stuff. Get one view. You don't even need to use ClearBlade views. Just get all the data together in one place, and that's what we're at.
Excellent. Okay, Aaron. Well, many thanks for that explanation on the fundamentals of ClearBlade, and I look forward to the next session on visualization.
Great. Thanks, Chris.